Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Houston.
The Astros are back home to start a 3-game series with the Milwaukee Brewers. Tonight, Jay Happ takes the mound for the Astros. He looks to continue his solid pitching at Minute Maid Park. Ryan Braun is still the main bat of the Brewers' hitting attack. He leads the National League in home runs. The series opener between the Astros and the Brewers is next on Fox Sports Houston. Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 3-game weekend series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. After an 0-7 Astros road trip, they've now lost 8 in a row and trying to get back, headed in the other direction against the Brewers, JD.
Yeah, Astros just having a dismal year away from home, but here at Minute Maid Park playing pretty good baseball. The Brewers have been scuffling a little bit lately as well. Pitching matchup tonight features left-hander Jay Happ for the Astros and Giovanni Gallardo, talented right-hander for the Brewers. Gallardo 6-6 with a 387. He's been lights out against the Astros in his career, 10-2 with a 281. Jay Happ has been pitching well of late. His last 3 starts, he has a 284 earned run average.
And as the Brewers come in, of course, their big threat is Ryan Braun. But the Astros hope to counter that with Jason Castro here and there. And Jed Lowry. And they have some other bats lined up to face Braun and the Brewers. We'll see who wins this one next.
Is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today.
Greg Lucas down on the field. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies are in the booth. The Astros are on the field. So as we get set for this Milwaukee-Houston battle, let's go back upstairs to Brownie and JD.
That's right, Greg. It's been a special night already for Jose Altuve, who was honored on the field, getting ready for his first ever Major League All-Star appearance. So big things coming up for him. He'll be leaving Sunday after the game along with his family for Kansas City. And we look at the Brewers batting order brought to you by Hyundai. Starting with Carlos Gomez in center field, Norichika Aoki in right, Ryan Braun in left, Ramos Ramirez at third, Corey Hart at first, Ricky Weeks at second, Cody Ransom at short, Martin Maldonado the catcher for Giovanni Gallardo.
Big lefty Jay Happ on the bump for the Astros tonight, making his 11th start here at Minute Maid Park. Through 10, he's 6-4 with a 3.75 ERA. Defensively, you see the outfield of Martinez, Schaefer back in there in center. Scott Moore gets another start in right. There's a newcomer, Matt Dominguez. He made his Astros debut yesterday. And Chris Johnson has slid over to first base for the time being. Astros wearing those rainbow sleeves.
Yeah, those are the ones JD and company used to wear. It's Carlos Gomez leading it off against Jay Happ. And he takes the first pitch. It's strike one for Jay to a .242 hitting outfielder with 5 homers, 17 runs batted in. Gomez has walked only 9 times. Third baseman Dominguez, even with the bag, moving in on the grass now. And Gomez is a very good bunter.
Yeah, he's a very gifted athlete, a good bunter. He has plenty of power. He just swings and misses too much. If he could really tighten up his strike zone discipline, he'd be something else.
A hot shot to shortstop, but Lowry's planted right there in the way of it. 1 out for Happ. The Brewers are 38-44. They're 8 games off the lead pace set by Pittsburgh in the NL Central. And they were shut out yesterday by Miami. They finished a 4-3 homestand. They split the 4 games with the Marlins after winning 2 of 3 from Arizona. Now it's Aoki, and he has performed well, hitting .300 with 4 homers, 18 runs batted in. He has a .363 on base average. Puts this one in the air, and that's drifting back out of play behind the Brewers dugout.
Aoki in the midst of a 12-game hitting streak, hitting better than .400 on that streak. So manager Ron Renicky keeps him in the lineup, even though there's a lefty on the hill for the Astros.
Certainly understandable. And he is 2 for 3 against Jay, who buzzes one up under his chin for a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Aoki with that big leg kick, very vulnerable with pitch inside. You can't react, you can't move while that foot's in the air. Not all that well, anyway.
Happ breaks it away from him, and it's ball 2, 2-1. Aoki was 11 for 27 on the Brewers homestand, hitting .407. Well, this is one of the really hot hitters, as JD mentioned, on that 12-game hitting streak in the National League. That one crowds him. 3-1. Brewers are 5th in runs scored in the National League with 369. Pitching has been their major difficulty. They're 13th in ERA.
A couple big blows early in the season for them. They lost their starting shortstop Alex Gonzalez for the year, and then Matt Gamble was taking over at first base for Prince Fielder. He's also done for the year. But despite that, they still managed to score enough runs.
That is a foul tip. He was on his way to first, but now he comes back with a 3-2 count. Rob Drake made the call.
Love the Drake. Hear that little toot-toot?
Yeah.
That's what Rob heard.
And the 3-2 is ripped to right field and back toward the corner. Scott Moore watches it fly out for a 1-out homer, and a 13-game hitting streak for Aoki. His 5th home run of the season gives the Brewers a 1-0 lead.
Hate the Drake. Would have been better off had he walked.
Yes.
How about that? Aoki continues his hot hitting. 15th home run allowed by Jay Happ this year, just the 4th allowed to a left-handed hitter. And you would figure a guy like Aoki against the left-handed pitcher would be just trying to slap the ball the other way, but he gets the head out in front of this fastball and puts a charge in it.
It's about 6 or 7 rows up. Now Ryan Braun. Braun takes ball 1. He checks in at 305 for this game with an NL high 23 homers, and he's driven in 59 runs. He hit a home run off Happ at Milwaukee this year on the 25th of April. Goes for that high heat, and that makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Braun, who was named to his 5th straight All-Star game. Ron Reinecke's left fielder performing even better than he did last year in his MVP season to this point of the year.
Remarkably consistent player. Turned himself into a good outfielder. He can steal a base for you.
He's joined Cecil Cooper and Paul Molitor as the only players in Brewers history to be named to 5 All-Star games. Don Money and Ben Sheets were 4-time Brewer All-Stars.
Not Robin Yount?
Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. We're going to have to check that, but according to the Brewer notes, he's not even on that list. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You would certainly think a Hall of Famer would have had
yeah.
that many All-Star selections, right?
You need to go back and add him to some of those American League All-Star teams that he didn't make.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Braun. Braun's hit 300 with 2 homers against Happ in his career.
Let's see, Fox tracks Happ up in the zone a fair bit here in this sequence with Braun. I'm not sure if that's by design or if he's just misfiring.
Braun puts it in the air, and the right fielder Moore comes over for this one as well into the right field corner, and Braun has hit it just foul. Scott Moore getting in some mad dashes in right field in the early going here.
Not hit all that well, but Braun is so strong. He almost knocked it out of here.
Last year, Braun hit 33 homers. He drove in 111 runs. He has set a better clip than that so far this season. But the Brewers, nonetheless, are 6 games under 500. They have never really gotten it going this year. Never gone on a good roll. That one's high to left center field and hit very well by Braun. And he takes the tour. Back-to-back long balls. Aoki and Braun make it 2-0 Brewers. That's number 24 for Braun. 60 runs batted in for Ryan Braun. That's the Brewers' 99th home run. They're second in the National League in long balls.
Good tough at bat by Braun, and ultimately wins the battle on a mid-thigh fastball. Pretty straight four-seamer, didn't have a lot of movement.
Right through the archway, and now it's the third baseman Ramirez. He puts it in the air, and Scott Moore comes over for it near the right field line. That'll bounce fair and kick out of play for a double for Ramirez. And that's his 26th two-base hit of the year. So 3 straight extra base hits have the Brewers churning here in the early going.
Happ just trying to find himself out there right now, trying to settle in. And this, I say it almost every night, this is when a starting pitcher is most vulnerable in that first inning to kind of get locked in. I mean, that was just a little pop-up by Ramirez. That was bad luck. So, you mix in a couple of bad pitches with a dose of bad luck, and now you got to really scramble.
With Corey Hart batting. Strike to Hart.
Brewers up there hacking. Aramis Ramirez attacks that first pitch as much as anybody in the league, so no surprise there. Hart also offering at the first pitch. Brewers looking for a TKO here in the first round.
Well, Hart has hit 3 homers against Houston pitching in 16 at-bats. He's been playing well at first base. Former outfielder. There was a need at first, and he's filled it quite well. 338 is his lifetime average with 18 homers against Houston, 54 runs batted in. Hart takes that pitch from Happ, and it's a little bit up.
One thing he hasn't been able to establish yet is just a good down and away fastball. Our looks at the Fox tracks, we've seen a lot of stuff up at the top of the zone. He can pitch up there.
Well, the number comes back to Happ. Checks Ramirez at second, throws to first for out number 2.
But you got to establish down and then go up. That was a good change up there to get Hart.
Ricky Weeks will follow. He is really suffering at the plate this season. Hitting only .193 with 6 homers, 24 runs batted in for Weeks. Very difficult year for Ricky. Picked up the pace a little bit on their recent homestand, hitting .280. The Astros have held him to a .136 average, 3 hits and 22 at bats this year. Weeks takes ball 1. Still, he's drawn walks, 45 of them this season for Weeks. Cody Ransom is on deck. The Astros are 3-2 against Milwaukee, 2-0 against them in this ballpark this year. Soft pop goes foul, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count on this Friday night at Minute Maid Park. Watch out, he took a tumble.
Okay, I'm good. Nothing to see here.
No foul.
Okay. That looks like Dave Raymond.
He does. Oh.
Ooh.
Landed on his head. He's still able to eat that popcorn.
Got a little post-crash adrenaline pumping right now.
He'll go on the 7-day disabled list, but still eating popcorn.
I'm good. And in the back of his mind goes, boy, I hope they're not showing me on TV.
His wife seems very unconcerned. 2 balls and a strike.
You know what? That was a heroic effort. You got to try to make a play.
Fly ball out to Scott Moore in right. And in the first inning, the Brewers get back-to-back long balls. Ioke with number 5, Braun with number 24 to take a 2-0 lead.
Clean up aisle 7. Clean up aisle 7.
Lead in their half of the first inning. Now the Astros lineup for Brad Mills is brought to you by Hyundai. It'll be Jordan Schaefer leading it off in center field. Jose Altuve at second base. Scott Moore in right field. J.D. Martinez in left. Jed Lowry's the shortstop batting 5th. Chris Johnson gets another start at first base with Jason Castro following at catcher. Matt Dominguez is the third baseman, and Jay Happ's on the mound.
Right-hander Giovanni Gallardo for the Brewers here tonight, and boy, he's been good against the Astros, hasn't he? 12 starts, 10-2 with a .281. He has won his last 7 starts against the Houston 9.
First man up against him is Jordan Schaefer. Schaefer begins the night at .235. He has 3 homers. He's driven in 20. First pitch to him is strike 1 on the inside edge. Schaefer went 2 for 11 driving in 2 in the Pittsburgh series. Late on that swing, he falls behind, no balls, 2 strikes against Gallardo. The Astros during their 8-game losing streak have hit .207 as a team. Sales high 1 and 2. On an 0-7 road trip, they scored 15 runs in 7 games. Looking for a breakout tonight. Gallardo has not been the sort who has allowed that against them.
No, and he's been on a pretty good roll of late too.
He opens with a K.
And tomorrow night they get Zach Greinke, who arguably has been the best pitcher in the National League so far this year. He's not an all-star, but probably should be.
That's a hard one to figure. Before the game, Brad Mills had that all-star jersey and presented it to Jose Altuve on the field.
What a thrill, huh?
Looks like a fit. Nice looking.
Looks like it's Prince Fielder's.
And now he bats for the first time tonight, taking ball 1. He said his family will be arriving here. They're probably here right now from Venezuela, and they'll go together to Kansas City Sunday after the game. 303 with 5 homers. He's driven in 25.
Some point on that flight, he's going to lean over and say, "Hey, pinch me, would you? Yeah. Am I really on my way to the All-Star game?"
You know, the special thrill that he has to have received is that the players voted him the top second baseman in the league, ahead of Dan Uggla, ahead of Brandon Phillips. That's his peers. 2 balls and strike.
Players tend to reward guys that play hard. I'm not saying that those other guys don't, but Altuve has earned that reputation very early in his career, being a guy that really gets after it.
So he joins Joe Morgan, Craig Biggio, Jeff Kent as all-star Houston second baseman. Jose Cruz will be joining us later on in the booth. He threw out the first pitch tonight. Flashback Friday with a 3-2 count now for Altuve. He has worn out Milwaukee pitching. 12 hits and 21 at bats against the Brewers, including a homer this year. Scott Moore's on deck. Altuve puts it in the air, and the center fielder Gomez goes back. 2 outs.
Now let's take a look at the Brewers defensively. Just saw Gomez make that play. Tremendous speed out there in center field. Told you about the problems they had with injuries. So Cody Ransom is now playing shortstop. Hardest move from the outfield into the infield. Maldonado, good defensive catcher. He was up because Jonathan Lucroy, who was having a heck of a year, he might have found himself at the All-Star game in Kansas City had he not been injured.
Scott Moore has hit in all 6 games as an Astro. High drive to right field. Let's see if he can get one back for Houston, and he does. Scott Moore with number 2 as an Astro, and he has lit it up in a Houston uniform. 7-game hitting streak for Scott Moore, and it's now 2-1.
More. Scott Moore, that's Teddy ball game.
Oh, beautiful result.
That home run in Pittsburgh the other day is first in an Astro uniform. And then right here, first pitch swinging on Gallardo. Well into the second deck.
Yes.
A couple of waggles, load up, and a big healthy swing at that first pitch fastball.
Moore hits a bomb. J.D. Martinez looks at ball 1 in the dirt. J.D. at 236 with 14 homers, has 35 runs batted in.
Swing will have all the advanced scouts scribbling furiously. Hey, be careful with this guy.
Yes, it will. High heater makes it 1-1 to JD. He was 4 for 16 in the Pittsburgh series. Well, according to some of the advanced stories on this series, the scouts could be packing in here tomorrow. It's a 3:05 start for 2 starting pitchers who could be very much in demand on the trade market. Wandy Rodriguez and Zach Greinke. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Greinke due to be a free agent at the end of the year, having a tremendous season. A lot of people think the Brewers won't pony up to keep him. There'll be a lot of folks watching Greinke. Wandy's contract situation a little different. He's gets that extra year that kicks in if he's traded. It may or may not scare some people off.
Measured at 402 feet on the Scott Moore homer. Might have gotten cheated on that one a little bit. 3-2.
See, with Wandy, the fact that his contract is structured that way may actually entice some clubs.
It might.
Yep. They're not looking for just a one-year guy or half-year guy.
That's hit to center field. Gomez backing. And in the first, the Moore home run makes it 2-1 Brewers, and a battle of long balls here in the first. The Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. 2-1 the Brewers in a battle of home runs. Got back-to-back shots from Aoki and Braun, and the Astros got one from Moore. We go to the second inning now, and it's Cody Ransom, a former Astro, leading it off. Cody filling in, as JD mentioned, for the injured Alex Gonzalez, who's out for the year with knee surgery. And there's strike one. Cesar Torres also has played some shortstop for this Brewer team.
Cody Ransom, a guy who's played a whole lot of AAA baseball in his career. Capable fill-in when he gets the call at the big league level. He has power.
Comes in the air, and Scott Moore comes in with Altuve looking out to the right fielder. And now over toward right center. One down for Jay Happ. Now the Brewers have been hit pretty hard by those injuries to Gonzalez, Gamble, and Lucroy. Currently, we've got some pitchers on the disabled list. Sean Markham. Martin Maldonado at 263 with 5 homers has driven in 17. They had a tremendous year last year, and it's tough to follow up those outstanding years. Brewers were 96 and 66. They set a club record for wins last year. That is ball one to Maldonado. That Lucroy was off to such a good start this year that certainly has had to hurt them offensively to have him out with a broken hand, and they're hoping to get him back later this month.
Yeah, I think July 20th they're targeting for his return. If all goes well, we'll start hitting off a tee here in Houston this weekend.
Brewers on the road are 16 and 23. That hasn't helped a whole lot. Foul back off the screen. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And still they're 8 games out, with Pittsburgh 2 in front of Cincinnati, St. Louis 2.5 behind, and the Brewers have 3 straight series after the All-Star break against divisional opponents and a chance to move up. If they don't do well in those, the thinking around Milwaukee is they may be shopping some guys hard by the trade deadline.
going to be an interesting situation for Doug Melvin, the general manager. Certainly there will be a lot of suitors for Greinke, and then get a pretty good haul of prospects for him. But he also has to consider, hey, we're having a down year this year, but still a pretty strong club. They could easily bounce back and win next year.
A shot at the middle. Happ couldn't stop it. It's on through for a single for Maldonado. Greinke has not lost at Miller Park. And some of the folks around Milwaukee think there's a pretty good shot that they could trade him and then still re-sign him as a free agent to bring him back. Maldonado aboard for Gallardo. Gallardo with 3 hits and 33 at bats, 3 sacrifice bunts as well. And he bunts that one way foul for strike 1.
Gallardo just hitting 091 as you saw there, but he's a good hitting pitcher.
Yeah. He's gone deep a few times. He has 9 home runs, in fact. It's a lot of home runs for a guy who's 26. He had a .218 career average coming into this season. He bunts in the air and foul again. He's come nowhere close to getting either bunt down.
I don't think he's committed.
Okay. Phil Boudreau checked on Robin Yount. He only had 3 All-Star selections. That's surprising.
These guys are talking bunting mechanics over there.
Okay. You can see why that discussion has followed with what they're looking at. 1 and 2. Bobby Meacham was talking about that a couple weeks ago, JD, and talking about players in general. He said, if you're trying to put a bunt down and it's just really that far foul, try to bunt it back to the pitcher. Try to make that kind of an adjustment. You probably won't if you try, but obviously if you're bunting foul by that much.
Touch is more important than direction most of the time. If you could just, push it out in front of home plate, keep it away from the catcher. Don't bunt it too hard back to the pitcher. You're usually in pretty good shape unless there's an outstanding athlete on the mound.
That's bunted foul. He just really was clueless on that at bat. Struck out on the foul 2-strike bunt. 2 outs. That'll be Gomez.
Gallardo doing the walk of shame back to the dugout. I failed to get the bunt down. Walk of shame. Looking at his bat. Just let me down.
Carlos Gomez is 26 years old. Grounded out to shortstop to open the game. Had a broken left collarbone last year. And Niger Morgan are the platoon in center field. There's strike 1. Gomez began his career with the Mets. Then he was traded to the Twins in the Johan Santana deal. Milwaukee picked him up in the trade for J.J. Hardy after the 09 season. Ground ball to Lowry. And the toss to Altuve. Gets the force on Maldonado. No runs, a hit, a man left. 2-1 Brewers in the second.
Brewers, and come on out here to Minute Maid Park for a 3:05 game against these very same Brewers tomorrow. 10,000 fans will receive a Mike Scott Greatest Moments bobblehead courtesy of Grand Slam for Youth Baseball. The bobblehead commemorates Scott's 1986 no-hitter to clinch the NL West Championship. Buy your tickets at Astros.com. Bill?
Thanks, Patty, and Scotty will be here later on in the month. Throw out a first pitch himself. We don't see much of him anymore. He's living in Southern California. Jed Lowry leads it off. It's 2-1 Milwaukee, bottom of the second inning. And that's ball one to Jed. 256 is his average, including 14 homers, 35 runs batted in. The 14 home runs, the top figure at the All-Star break by an Astros shortstop. He tops that one. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Jed. He's fallen off, though, with that average at the current 256 mark. He hit 182 on the road trip. He's hit 176 in July, going 3 for 17. Ooh. All two up around the head.
Attention getter. The guy's got some pop. Good fastball hitter. You don't want him taking liberties, so he straightens him up with a good heater. It didn't back down, though.
Gallardo's beaten the Astros in 7 consecutive starts. Beat Jay Happ twice last year. This is the first time he's pitched against them this season. It's 3 balls and a strike. He has a career ERA against Houston of 2.81. His 10-2 career record from 07 up to the present, exceeded only by Adam Wainwright's 11-1 against Houston and Paul Maholm's 11-4. Now back. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Gallardo is one of those guys that will work up and down in the strike zone with his fastball. Has good breaking stuff. Curveball and slider. And a straight change.
That's strike 3. Strikeout number 2. Gallardo, a second-round pick in 04 by the Brewers.
Touches the outside edge with that 3-2 fastball. I thought it was away, but clearly on the plate.
Lowry's retired. Now it's Chris Johnson playing first base for the second straight game. Fouled away. There's strike 1. 274 for Chris. 6 homers, 34 runs batted in. He did say before the game, well, first is a little different, but it's not that tough. He was 2 for 13 on the road trip. But it is a busy position. There are assignments for the first baseman. He's the cutoff man quite often. He grounds that one, and Ricky Weeks can't stop it from going through into right field. And Chris was saying before the game, that's one of the most difficult plays for a first baseman, knowing what your range is and what your second baseman's range is, knowing when to break for a ball, knowing when not to.
Yeah, and you even see that with experienced first basemen sometimes ranging after a ball that they should just leave alone. I'm not talking about this particular play, but you see that quite often.
Yep. He goes to right field for the Astros' second hit. Corey Hart holding him on. And it's Jason Castro next. Jason at 250 with 2 homers has driven in 18. Jason went 2 for 7 in the Pittsburgh series with a couple of runs batted in. Very hot road trip for the catchers especially. Jason and Chris Snyder. He ropes one out into center field. CJ takes a look at Gomez. Whoa, he jams on the brakes, and with good reason. This guy can really throw. And he forced that throw, but he knew all along he was going back to second base.
And you got to be careful sometimes too, because center fielder or any outfielder will sometimes take a shot behind you knowing full well that you're not really going to try to go to third base. So you can't make too big of a turn. As I said earlier, Gomez is a tremendously gifted player in terms of just his tools. He's very raw, and the question is, will he ever put it all together?
He is a defensive weapon.
love the way Jason Castro is swinging the bat.
Yes. Well, that was a solid line drive. Now first and second, one out. And Matt Dominguez tries for his first hit as an Astro. 22 years old from Chatsworth, California. Breaking pitch in the dirt, ball one. He had 2 at-bats yesterday in his Astros debut. Went 0 for 2. And had a first-round pick of the Marlins in 07. Traded for Carlos Lee. Along with lefty starter Rob Rasmussen, who is at Double-A Corpus Christi. In his career, .234 with 2 major league runs batted in. He had 45 major league at-bats with the Marlins last year. Strike, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Matt Dominguez in a very difficult profession, trying to succeed at the top level of baseball. His father is in another difficult profession. He's working for the Los Angeles Times. Breaking pitch off the plate makes it 2 balls, 1 strike.
What does his dad do for the newspaper?
I think he's at the top of the chain. And his uncle is an agent, Gus Dominguez. His dad's the editor.
Oh, hey, but like the owner.
Yeah.
It's at the top of the chain.
Well, that's true. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Atlanta and Philly are scoreless after 6.
Big overhand curveball from Gallardo. Sits on the inside corner. Ryan Howard making his return to Philadelphia tonight.
He is 1 for 2. Kendrick against Tim Hudson. Line shot, that'll hook and go foul.
Come on. Follow the script. Kid's first AB at home here in an Astro uniform. It's got to stay fair. Didn't Cammy wear number 11?
Yeah. Forgot about that. Wouldn't that be something? The Astros get another Cammy. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Dominguez has an excellent defensive reputation. And Brad Mills called the Astros AAA skipper, Tony Francesca, at Oklahoma City. Tony had glowing reports about Matt. Feels he will be a good hitter. Big 3-2 pitch coming to him. And a little roller stays foul. Maldonado was hoping it might come back in fair territory, but it's still 3-2 to Dominguez.
Right off the end of the bat. That's a cup bat. That ball's probably got a pretty good scar on it right now.
All right, he hit one just foul down the left field line. Just foul a few feet from home plate, first base side. He was hitting .234 at New Orleans, a pretty big ballpark with 7 homers there, 46 runs batted in, a .647 OPS at AAA for Matt. Now leans back as he's waiting. And a fastball, foul tip, takes care of strikeout number 3 for Gallardo. 2 outs, and Jay Happ follows.
Gallardo pretty much sat at 90 miles an hour with that fastball in the first inning. Now he's getting a little extra. This one at 93 miles an hour.
Jay Happ with 3 hits and 28 at bats is a 107 hitter at the moment. That's ball 1. Gallardo is coming off perhaps his best start of the year. 6 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs allowed, but got a no decision against Arizona on Sunday. He walked 5 and struck out 6. There was a blown save by Francisco Rodriguez after he left the game.
That's probably been the biggest issue for the Brewers this year, their bullpen. Second highest bullpen ERA in the National League. And closer Axford's had all kinds of problems.
Renicky has had those leads evaporate late in games, And that's led to 20 bullpen losses and 14 blown saves and 30 opportunities for his club. 2-1. Axford's had 5 blown saves himself, and last year he was absolutely tremendous. He was 46 of 48 last year. Fastball off the plate takes it to 3-1 now.
It's due for a little market correction.
Probably so. Axford gave up a 2-out 9th inning homer to Gabby Sanchez a couple of days ago of the Marlins. And then Sanchez was sent down to the minors after that home run. That's ball 4. Happ draws a walk to load the bases for Schaefer. First walk for Gallardo. That's his 48th of the year.
What a break that is. Good AB by Jay Happ. Anyway, just get on base, keep the inning alive, and he does it. For a guy who does not have very good numbers, but that's a big hit with men on base.
That's the 5th 3-ball count Gallardo has had. Jordan Schaefer has a .214 career batting average with the bases loaded. This year 2 for 6. Gallardo has 59 major league wins with 40 losses and a 3.66 ERA. Schaefer struck out in the first. He looks at the curve for strike 1. Gallardo, his last 5 starts, as you see, he's at 40 pitches already, is 2-1 with a 2.51 ERA. It's foul back. 0-2.
Schaefer hitting 333 with runners in scoring position this year. 16 out of 48. Very stylish with that orange sleeve, too.
Yes.
I pitch around him.
In the dirt, there's the block by Maldonado, keeping the runners at their bases. Count of 1-2.
The scouting report I got on Maldonado was that he was very good back there, very active, good receiver, and does a nice job there. That's one of the tougher balls to handle. That breaking pitch that breaks way out in front of the plate, kicks back the other way.
It's kind of got the Carlos Corcoran very wide stance back there, JD. Very wide stance. Just blocked that ball well. Bases loaded, 1-2 count. Schaefer swings that one in the dirt, and that's the strikeout. As Maldonado steps on the plate to end the inning, it's no runs, 2 hits, 3 men stranded after 2. The Brewers lead 2-1.
Night Out package presented by Kielbasa and Budweiser is available every Thursday home game, including July 26th against the Pirates. Purchase a loaded ticket that includes a field box 2-seat, Astros cap, sausage dog, and value draft beer or soda for just $30. Root now and buy tickets at astros.com/guys night. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. See some military folks here tonight. And of course, Home Sweet Home Sunday is coming up. 105 games. Some of them will be honored. AT&T has trivia for us. Jose Cruz hit 165 homers. Against which team did he hit his final home run?
He hit a grand slam for the Yankees.
Okay.
In 1987. I know that.
Well,
I don't know who it was against.
Aoki leads it off. He homered in the first inning to make it 1-0 Brewers. Now showing bunt. Takes ball 1.
He's just showing off now. It's a home run. Now he wants to bunt for a hit, trying to show us his whole game. Good, solid career in Japan. 8 years of professional baseball there.
Takes that one for a strike.
Suppose he'll get some votes for Rookie of the Year. He's officially a rookie.
True. He's 30, but he's a rookie. Fly ball right field. Scott Moore. 1 out.
It's hard to envision anyone but Harper winning that award.
Oh, yeah. All right, AT&T trivia answer comes your way for the final home run for Jose Cruz against which team? The White Sox. A pinch hit grand slam.
Put it on the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
What year would that have been?
1987, I believe.
He's headed over here. He'll be here next inning. We're listening to Francisco, I believe, but that's okay. Braun takes strike 1. He homered in the first inning. Francisco Romero over on Astros Spanish language radio, but Cheo often visits with him and with Alex Trevino. Change up for Jay takes the count to 1 ball, 1 strike. Jay is 3-2 in his career against the Brewers with a 5.26 ERA. And pitched a fine game against them May 17th. 6 shutout innings. He was in a lot of trouble. He had 8 men left on base. Got that one down, and Braun is behind in the count 1-2 now.
A good sharp slider here from Happ.
On slugging percentage is actually 50 points higher than it was a year ago at this time.
Struggling to get the ball down. First time he faced Braun. Now feeling a little better out there. His command is better.
To Hopper. Lowry. 2 outs.
Talked in the pregame about Jay Happ's ground ball rate being up, and it's up significantly. It's like 13% higher for, you've seen heads out there that really get into that stuff.
Okay. Ramirez.
Well, some people, they don't care what his ground ball rate is.
True.
They want to know what he had for lunch, but other people want to know what his ground ball rate is.
Ramirez dropped a double right on the right field line. A little pop fly hit back in the first inning. Had a nice year so far after joining this club as a free agent. There's ball 1.
Jay's taking a couple shots inside on these right-handed hitters tonight. So important to let them know you mean business. You're going to work hard in.
Ramirez signed a 3-year deal last December to join the Brewers after being a Cub.
Making his way around the NL Central. Started his career with the Pirates. Really solid career. He's driven in a bunch of runs. Inflicted all kinds of damage on the Astros over the years. He's having a fairly typical Aramis Ramirez year. Very sluggish start, and then he turns it on.
Takes that pitch up. Well, he's hit 325 career homers. He's getting close to 1,200 runs batted in. And he just turned 34. 2 balls and a strike to Aramis. He rips this one. It'll hook and go foul.
Change up, didn't quite get it down where he wanted, but he had Ramirez out in front of it. He got away with it. It's Sets the whole, the hard fastball in, sets up the soft stuff away. Upset the timing of the hitter, you get away with more mistakes.
Jay looks a little bit like JD did in that uniform. Kind of brings back some memories.
A little leaner than I was.
Foul back again. Jay shooting for win number 7 of the year. Astros starters the last 3 weeks have done well. He's thrown 52 pitches. 33 have been strikes so far.
Like that changeup one time and really commit to it. Not bad. All of his weapons in the arsenal here tonight. Making some good pitches here to Ramirez. Ramirez staying alive.
Ground ball, and Lowry moves to his left. Low throw, but Chris Johnson scoops it for a 1-2-3 third. 2-1 Milwaukee.
Well, the MD Anderson Cancer Center making cancer history. It was on July 6, 1977, after being called on strikes by umpire Paul Pryor. Jose Cruz hit a game-winning homer. How did he do that? Well, the Astros won the game 2-1. He got the extra swing because Cruz argued he only had 2 strikes, and umpire Paul Pryor admitted his mistake. Which is not hard these days. I was noticing our home plate umpire tonight. Rob Drake is another one of these guys that doesn't use a clicker. And there are a lot of them in Major League Baseball that don't. There's Chale. He's going to be coming over to talk with JD and Brownie in the top of the next inning.
We look forward to that. It's 2-1. The Brewers lead it. Jose Altuve leading off. He hit a fly ball to center on a 3-2 count. There's ball 1 to Jose. Atlanta and Philadelphia are scoreless after 7 now. Yankees and Boston each scored 5 in the first tonight against each other. In a first inning that took more than 40 minutes.
There we go. Yeah, you could pretty much settle in for 4 hours plus when those two teams get together.
It's 6-6 after 4 right now.
Injury problems continue for the Sox. They put Pedroia on the DL today.
Yeah, thumb.
The laser show is down.
Boy, they have a lot of players hurt right now. They have Carl Crawford rehabbing. And Jacoby Ellsbury is rehabbing. And the new third baseman is hurting. They have a lot of people down. Pitchers going with a 6-man rotation right now. There's a lot going on with the Red Sox. 3 balls and a strike. And meanwhile, the Yankees have 5 saves from Mariano Rivera, and they're just clipping along. Grounds it to shortstop. Cody Ransom just got him. One out, just like we promised earlier in the game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, showing you Scott Moore with a big swing of the bat.
Second home run in an Astro uniform. He had 10 down in AAA this year. Sweet swing he's got.
Great results so far. Now he comes around for the second time against Gallardo. No first pitch fastball here. It's a breaking pitch for ball one.
Yeah, you see that all the time, but first pitch fastball is probably the last thing Moore would be looking for.
True. It's in tight. It's 2-0 to Scott. Josh Beckett took his lumps tonight, but then so did his mound opponent for the Yankees. Beckett is 5-0 in his last 6 starts against the Yankees. Fly ball, and center fielder Gomez is tracking it deep, turning right there on the warning track for a long out, number 2.
Scott Moore's intending to take full advantage of this major league time and convince everybody he deserves to stay.
Well, he's doing it. Put together good at bats.
Another good swing, just the wrong part of the yard. Yeah, Beckett was 5 in a row against the Yankees. I think the last time somebody won 6 in a row was Louis Tiant back in the 70s.
Oh, that's going way back. JD Martinez right on that pitch. There's a diving play. Cody Ransom gets up, and the stretch by Hart. Very good play by Ransom and Hart to get Martinez, who hit it extremely sharply, but it's a 1-2-3 third, and Milwaukee leads it 2-1. Of the building joining us, and I threw out the first pitch on this Flashback Friday. You're already in the Walk of Fame by virtue of the fact that your number was retired, so no special ceremony because it already took place earlier this year, but it's a fun year for you, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I really enjoy it. Especially I see a lot of people that I don't see in a long time. I see the people in New Brownfield. I see people from a lot of places in here that just like my youth to play.
We just had that story about you correcting Paul Pryor with the count, and then you hit a game-winning homer because he had you struck out, and you said, no, it was only 2 strikes on the count. Do you remember that one?
No, really, I don't remember. That's a long time.
1977, you remember that?
Well, yeah, but, you know, my memory doesn't go that good, you know what I mean?
Well, how about your final home run, the pinch hit grand slam?
I remember that one. That was against
White Sox?
Yeah, the White Sox plus Dominican Republic guy. Remember that?
Okay.
Big hard
Plus,
thrower.
you know what? The other Puerto Rican who got that ball.
Who's that?
It was I'm from Puerto Rico. I don't remember the name either.
Well, let's talk about your playoff series 1980. And the way you hit that year, and you just sizzled that year. There's a drive by Corey Hart. Well hit to left center field. And that shoots off the bullpen wall. He's going to cruise into second with a double. Cheo had plenty of those, but yeah, that series against the Phillies, you hit so well that year. Talk about that one. What do you remember?
Well, I remember that was that was my best playoff ever, because I played in 1986 too, but I think my best one was 1980 because I got a chance. You know, we got so close to winning, and plus, you know, we got a lot of good teammates there that I remember. All my guys that we've been there for a long time, and you know, just, you know, I'm never gonna forget that because that was my best playoff ever for me.
And even in the cavernous Astrodome, you hit those chopping singles, you hit those doubles and triples in the gap. That was a good ballpark for you. You could have hit more homers somewhere else, though.
Right. You know, like I said before, I remember I hear the story, you know, talking about Rossi Stower talking to somebody there, and I remember they say, man, you know what, it's a big ballpark. So I would listen to that conversation, and then I said, wait a minute, I got to change my style of hitting. I want to go to opposite way more, split the ball around, so make me a better hitter.
Did you change your swing a little bit?
I changed, you know, more. I don't try to pull like I used to. I used to try to pull everything, but I decided to go more the other way. And there was a big ball, but I said, well, I can hit a lot of doubles and hit them triples. So I was pretty lucky. Plus, I hit a lot of fly balls that they weren't going nowhere. They used to have the air condition blowing in. So every fly ball that I hit is supposed to be a home run that stop it.
That's because they didn't want you to make that much money the next year. If you had 30 home runs with all that other stuff, imagine the money you would have.
Exactly. Well, the place that you like there because that was a big ball, but that was good for the pitchers.
Yeah. You're throwing out the first pitch. The story I love, after you saw the weak strikeout, and then you got that one out to J.D. Martinez. The story I love is the one Enos Cabell told, and we talked about this, about when Bill Verdon was managing and you were not playing against left-handed pitching, and you went in to talk to Bill. Tell us about that.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. You know what? I'd say, you know what? I got tired sitting on the bench every time the pitching a left-hander. So I said, wait. Say, hey, you want to play? Go out there and talk to him. So I went there to the office. I said, Bill, I talk to you. I see you. He said, sure, yeah, sit down. So I said, Bill, you know what? I want to play against lefty. I play in the minor league against everybody. I hit it good. So why you never play me against lefty? So he said, well, you want to play against? You sure you want to play against lefty tomorrow? No, I said, well, yeah, I want to play. Okay, he said, tomorrow, stick Carlton pitching. So what is that? You know what? On this first at bat, I hit a home run.
Of Carlton?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hit a line shot. They hit one of those big, I don't know why, steel thing there, and then come back to the field. That was one of my longest home runs that I ever hit. And
when you came into the dugout, did you look at Verdon and kind of
yeah, when I was running the base, I look at him and say, see, I told you.
Oh, great story. And then you always played against lefties
after that day, I would play against everybody. Yeah. Pretty lucky because, you know, that was one of the toughest managers you ever, you know. Remember,
you're a hard-nosed guy, huh?
Oh, yeah, I was a hard-nosed and, you know, Army guy. But I enjoy it because I like to challenge those guys like that. Bill always hits some fly ball to us, and I always say, Bill, come on, hit me some more. Are you tired yet? Hit me some more. So he liked it that when you say, you know, yeah.
Now, were you on
thank you, sir, give me another, that kind of thing?
Yeah, even that I was tired, but I don't want to show him that I was tired.
Were you on the club managed by Bill Verdon when Cliff Johnson did not run out a pop-up and you all had to show up for sprints the next morning?
But man, we used to have a lot of trouble with that guy because he never do anything right, running the bases, and we had to come run the bases early, and then sometimes when we lost the game, he don't run the bases, we got to run the bases again. So
everybody paid the penalty.
There you go, Cliff. But that was great memories, though.
Oh, Terry Poole and Craig Reynolds, Nolan Ryan, and all the great teammates you had.
You forget one of the best, Cesar Cedeno.
That's right.
Cedeno was the best player that I ever saw play with us. And he was a right tool player. He was, well, I say he was the best center fielder in the game when I was there.
Compared him to Willie Mays.
Yes.
You had the top spot in a lot of these statistical categories when you left the club, and then of course Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell came along, and all you guys long-term Astros. Did that mean more to you to play the great majority of your career with one team, you think?
I think so, because, because a Biggio plays, 20 years with us. I played 20 years, I'll probably get, be the same. I'll probably close. But, I was lucky that they give me the chance to play and be, do good. Plus, the people love me. That's the main thing for me. Plus, I'm an Astro.
Astro for life.
Yeah, Astro for life. And I really enjoy it here in the city of Houston. And fan everywhere that I go, they respect me. So, that's more than money for me.
And maybe the only guy ever to go to bat with a fungo.
That's right. Plus, people don't do that. You remember that?
Yeah.
I used to say, the pitcher should be ashamed that I hit a home run with the fungo. So I hit about, 1 year in Puerto Rico, I hit 14 homers with the fungo.
Is that right?
Yes, the winter league in Puerto Rico. I hit a few here. I once in a while when I see a tough pitcher like like JD, I was like, well, I'm going to get my fungo to him. Maybe I get lucky. So I hit against Steve Carter with the fungo one time. Yeah.
Boy. Fly ball by Maldonado. Goes out to Schaefer and Jose Cruz. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for having me. Thank you, JD.
To you by Jack in the Box. Get the All-American Jack Combo for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by Mattress Firm. Save money. Sleep happy. Astros in the party. Slept happy, if not short, last night after getting in late from Pittsburgh. They're in this one, 2-1, bottom of the fourth. Let's go back upstairs to Bill Brown and Jim Bechet.
Brad Mills admitted he didn't get any rest last night. And, of course, that's a couple of things. The hours and the 8-game losing streak makes it tough to sleep.
We could have rolled in at 9 o'clock and Millsy wouldn't have slept last night.
Jed Lowry looks at strike one. He was caught looking in the second inning. It's 2-1. The Brewers lead it. They've out-hit the Astros 5-3. Johnson and Castro to follow. They both had hits the first time up after Lowry was caught looking. Gallardo missing there. Takes the count to 1-1 strike. Brad Mills hoping tonight's the night.
Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
1978-ish, I think.
Okay.
Jed just a little funk right now. He's getting caught in between. A little late getting started on the fastball out in front of the off-speed stuff.
He's had a couple sail up there around his head.
Yeah, another reminder. Good, tough, competitive pitcher, this guy, Gallardo. Pretty durable, too. He had injury problems earlier in his career, but they were knee-related.
Born in Mexico, grew up in Fort Worth. Lowry over shortstop, out to left field. And Braun takes care of out number 1.
Pretty young when he first came up, wasn't he?
Yes.
21 or 2, something like that.
Only 26 now. He came up in 07. Yeah, he would have been 21. Last year he was 17 and 10. Had a strikeout per inning, 207 of each. And made 33 starts. Chris Johnson, even though he's playing first base now, will be the third baseman. Jeff Luhnow has made that statement. CJ got a single through the right side. There's strike 1. But for these 4 games starting yesterday leading up to the break through Sunday afternoon, the Astros wanted to move Chris to first base. Take a look at Matt Dominguez. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Chris very happy to oblige with that. He played first quite a bit in spring training. He's played a few innings at first base before his first start at that position yesterday. And it wouldn't be surprising at all to see Brett Wallace on this club after the All-Star break. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It would be really surprising to not see him on this club after the All-Star break.
True. Brett's hitting very well at Oklahoma City right now. In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Hessman was named the Oklahoma City Offensive Player of the Month for June. Hessman's hit 27 home runs in the PCL. He hit 14 in June. Foul away. Still 2-2 for CJ. Jonathan Villar, the shortstop at Corpus Christi, leads the Texas League with 35 steals. Delano DeShields, the second baseman at Lexington, leads the South Atlantic League with 60 steals in 70 tries. 3-2. Another 3-ball count. And that's 64 pitches thrown by Gallardo, who walked 5 6 2/3 in his last start. He's walked only 1 so far tonight. Jay Happ. Foul back, and it remains 3 balls, 2 strikes. Brewers starting pitchers have 26 wins, 24 losses, a 4.02 ERA. Their bullpen is not nearly that good looking on the stat sheet. Fly ball to right field. Aoki in for the catch. 2 outs.
Yeah, and that's why, again, I think it's a dilemma for Doug Melvin as he contemplates the trade deadline and whether to move Greinke or not, because they have enough pitching in their rotation to really make a run in the second half.
Sure do.
It's Fire's kid that's come up has been really, really good. Estrada has pitched well for him. Sean Markham is on the DL right now, but he's solid. And with Gallardo and Greinke at the top of the rotation, they have a very good starting rotation. If they could get the bullpen straightened out, I think they would be capable of making a run.
Castro looks at strike 1. Jason singled to center field in the second inning. Jason had a very good month of June. Ron Renicky and his bench coach Jerry Narron look on. He checked his swing there on appeal to the third base umpire, Mike Estabrook. It is ball 1. Castro since May 21st has hit .295 with a .380 on base average. Detroit leads Kansas City 4-2 after 6. It's 2-1. Tampa Bay clobbering Cleveland 10-3 after 5.5. Colorado 4, Washington nothing. Bottom of the 7th. What a win for a Colorado pitcher. Maybe
over Steven Strasburg.
Ooh. That's
Tyler Colvin's hit 2 home runs for the Rockies in that game. He has been on a tear.
Over shortstop, out into shallow left center field. That loops in for a hit. Jason Castro's 2 for 2. Braun couldn't get there.
Solid line drive single last time. A little dying quail bloop knock this time. Joe West giving him some grief about it. So,
yeah.
A big man like you hit the ball like that.
Castro 2 for 2. He's aboard with a 2-out single. And now it's Matt Dominguez. Dominguez worked the count to 3-2 and struck out. Good stop there by Maldonado on ball 1. There'll be a blood drive tomorrow at Union Station from 11 to 4. You need not have a ticket to the game to give blood, but you can get an Astros t-shirt. Strike makes it 1-1, but you wouldn't want to miss the game tomorrow with a matchup of Wandy Rodriguez and Zach Greinke. It's a 3:05 start. Astros Live starts at 2:30. Sunday, Jordan Lyles and Marco Estrada wrap it up before the break with a 1:05 start. 1-2. Steve Sparks will be sitting in your chair Sunday, JD, as you get a rare day off.
I'm headed to the river, Brownie.
Really good place to head for right now, as that man heads for Kansas City.
Kansas City. It's going to be fun to watch him.
Oh, yes.
Hopefully he gets in there.
2-2. Well, Ron Washington, the American League manager, said today he plans to try to play everybody. He wants to play the starters about half the game and then bring in the reserves for about half the game. So hopefully Tony La Russa will do that same thing. And Tony very complimentary about Jose in his comments in the paper today. Foul back. Still 2-2. And he talked about how well Jose hit against the Cardinals last year. He hit over 400 against St. Louis. He said, yeah, we saw him as an all-star last year. So hopefully he'll get in there.
It'd be fitting in Kansas City, where Freddie Patuk played for so many years at 5-5.
So bouncer to Hart. And he takes care of Dominguez. No runs ahead. A man stranded after 4. It's settling down now and still 2-1. Same score as it was after 1.
Which means it's time for your Mazda CX-5 game break. We build Mazdas. What do you drive? Well, tomorrow's 3:05 start is what we're going to call a visiting scouts special, because there is a lot of interest in the 2 starting pitchers tomorrow. Wandy Rodriguez for the Astros and Zach Greinke for the Brewers. For Wandy, it's a chance to get his record up over 500. He is right now 6-6 with a 3.54 ERA and 17 starts. In his last outing on Sunday, he took the loss in the Astros 3-0 defeat to the Cubs at Wrigley. But it was a quality start for him, so he'll be looking to build on that. That's your Mazda game break. Let's go back to the booth. Brownie and JD, guys.
Thanks, Bart. Wandy watching as it's a 2-1 ball game with Jay Happ on the mound in the top of the 5th inning and Gallardo batting. There's strike 1. Gallardo struck out in the 2nd inning. Brad Mills said he and his staff, Bill Cale, the pitching coach, are debating whether or not to make Lucas Harrell available out of the bullpen this weekend, since he's not due to start again before the break. No balls, 2 strikes, and they have not decided on that issue yet. The Astros will have a 3-day break, actually 4, but they travel on the 4th day, Thursday, to San Francisco. They'll work out there Thursday night before opening a 10-game road trip Friday night in San Francisco. Top to third, Dominguez charging. Taking care of out number 1.
Whether Lucas Harrell's available in the bullpen tomorrow or Sunday will probably be determined by what happens tonight and tomorrow.
Good point.
Run through your bullpen, have a long game, or get blown out and have to use that pen a lot, and imagine Harrell would be available.
The Astros are going back to a 5-man rotation after the All-Star break. Harrell was throwing in the bullpen last inning. Carlos Gomez is 0 for 2 tonight. There is strike 1. Could be several changes in the roster after the All-Star break, with a few players on injury rehab assignment right now, including Wilton Lopez. He worked last night at New Orleans for Oklahoma City, 1 inning, giving up 2 earned runs. And Justin Maxwell is beginning his rehab assignment tonight with Oklahoma City. Marwin Gonzalez is there as well, and he has played several games. He's gone 10 for 22 for the Red Hawks in 8 games there. Played a little bit of Double-A before that. Gomez is down on strikes. Number 4 for Jay Happ.
That's a perfect example of what I talked about earlier in the ballgame, how Jay can beat you upstairs, but it's better if you start down and then climb the ladder, and that's exactly what he does here to the free swinging Gomez. Got ahead of him, then threw one up there in his eyes where it looks so good, but it's so hard to handle.
Nori Aoki homered in the first inning, fly to right in the third. One hopper to Chris Johnson. Well, what a difference. After it was 2-0 after 3 men batted against Jay Happ, it's still 2-1 Milwaukee now. Two-1 ball game. The Brewers got back-to-back homers from Aoki and Braun in the first inning. The Astros got a first-inning blast from Scott Moore. It has stayed that score since then, and now it's Jay Happ leading it off in the bottom of the 5th inning. He walked in the 2nd. Taking strike 1 there on a Friday night. Atlanta 5, Philadelphia nothing. Bottom of the 8th. Braves dropped a 5 spot on the Phillies in the top of the 8th inning. Ryan McCann hit his 11th home run. Now Kendrick went 7 shutout, but Antonio Bastardo gave up all 5 of those earned runs with 2/3 of an inning of work. The return of Ryan Howard. Howard is 2 for 3 in that game. Phillies say they're not going to start wholesale deals, tearing up the team. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jay Happ. Jay looks at ball 3. It's a full count to Jay.
50-50.
Yeah. Drew Pomeranz got that start for Colorado tonight. 6 1/3 innings of 1-hit shutout baseball. Throwing 81 pitches. Out into center field for Gomez. 1 out. Patty?
Well, hey, Astro fans, Chevy is proud to present a new show called Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. So tune in each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. Guys?
1 down now, and it's Jordan Schaefer coming up for the 3rd time. He has struck out both times against Gallardo. Gallardo's with 4 and 4 1/3. Averaging a strikeout per inning this year.
When he has command of his breaking ball, he's awfully tough. He could throw a hook like that in there for strike 1, and that's not just a lazy get over lollipop curveball. That's a good, hard, biting curveball.
1 hopper back to him. 2 outs. And now it's Altuve coming up. Jose has worked the count to 3-2 and hit a fly ball to center, and 3-1 and grounded to shortstop. Boston leads the Yankees 7-6. They're in the bottom of the 6th at Fenway now.
A lot of times this is a situation where you want to take a pitch or two, make the pitcher work a little bit in a real nice groove. But sometimes it's also the time to just go ahead and sit on a first pitch heater, take a big swing.
Ricky Weeks over to Corey Hart, and the 5th inning goes quickly for Gallardo. He maintains a 2-1 lead through 5.
In the top of the sixth, time now to introduce you to our progressive fan of the game, this lovely lady right here, Laverne, her 70th birthday, celebrating it here at the ballpark. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I can't imagine a better place for you, as big of an Astro fan as you are, to be celebrating your birthday.
I can't either. I'm so excited. And I'm excited to meet you, too.
You hear that? That's why I picked her as my fan of the game. So tell us a little bit about why you're such a big Astro fan, and you were telling me Craig Biggio is one of your favorite players?
Yes, Craig Biggio, because he does things the right way. He's a good example. He went in to coach his son's high school team. I'm really a big baseball fan because of my dad. From early life, he was even an umpire in a community league, and that gave me my love of baseball. And when I moved to Houston, I just was here with the Astrodome in 1980. And I followed him ever since.
Well, very cool. I know you're a California girl, but you're a big Astros fan now, and you watch most of your games on TV. How often do you get out here to the games?
A couple of times a year, 2 or 3 times a year.
Is that the hubby sitting behind you?
Yeah, it sure is. 48 years.
48 years, 70th birthday. She is our progressive fan of the game. Laverne, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Patty. Ryan Braun hits a fly ball to center. Jordan Schaefer takes care of it. There's out number 1, and that's 7 straight retired by Jay Happ in this 2-1 game in the 6th inning. And Braun cracked a homer off him in the first, but has grounded out and flied out since then. Ramos Ramirez next. He dropped a pop fly double right on the right field line, and it hopped into the seats back in the 1st inning. Then he bounced out to short in the 3rd.
Hello, Uncle Charlie.
Yes.
Again, that's a great pitch to throw Ramirez, because year in and year out, he is one of the most aggressive hitters in the league. Attacks that first pitch almost as much as anybody.
1-1 to Ramirez. Cardinals outfielder Matt Holliday has been selected by Tony La Russa to become an all-star, replacing teammate Yadier Molina on the NL roster. Crack bat roller up the middle. Lowry to his left. Spin move and the throw, and they get him. Well done by Lowry.
Yeah, pretty play. Great pitch. Good changeup down. Happ really has all of his stuff working for him now. He has Ramirez lunging for that one, and a pretty play here by Lowry. Watch how he gloves it and then is airborne immediately, spinning all the way around.
2 outs now. That's 8 in a row set down by Happ and friends. Corey Hart double to left center. Back in the 4th inning. That led off the inning, but he never moved after that.
With the shift on now for Hart, with Altuve moving on the shortstop side of second base. And CJ moving well off the line at first.
Yadier Molina has been placed on the bereavement list. Liner to left center field. Could be a gapper. Schaefer over. He'll spin and throw into second base. And the throw is offline. A double for Hart, his 2nd of the night.
Good player.
24 doubles for him.
To go along with 16 home runs.
And he's helped the club by filling the need at first base there after being an outfielder earlier this year. That was hit number 6, allowed by Happ. Ricky Weeks struck out in the 4th inning. He's 0 for 2. That was the 100th time he's fanned this year. Leads the league. Of the 6 hits Happ has allowed, 5 have been for extra bases, 2 homers and 3 doubles. One-run ball game here. The Astros have won 3 straight from the Brewers, who took the first 2 from Houston this year. That's punched out toward right center field, and that one will fly over Scott Moore, and that one just kept going into the bullpen for a 2-run homer. Ricky Weeks belted number 7, giving him 26 runs batted in, and the Brewers grab a 4-1 lead. He's now 7 for 14 with 2 homers against Happ.
Now, this kind of coming out of nowhere. Happ had been in complete command of his game locating with all of his pitches, really having the Brewer hitters off stride. But with 2 outs and nobody on, they strike quickly, double Hart, and now this off-field home run from Weeks. Just a nice, easy swing, and that kind of speaks to the strength of Ricky Weeks. His hands, his forearms and wrists, tremendously strong.
It's been a rough year for him. Brewers are up by 3 thanks to their 3rd long ball of the game. Cody Ransom pops it up. Chris Johnson in. And it's 2 runs, 2 hits. The Brewers now are up by 3, 4-1.
The 6th, and join the Astros for University of Houston night here at Minute Maid Park on Wednesday, July 25th, when the Astros host the Reds. U of H fans can buy a ticket package on astros.com/Cougs, and the first 1,000 to redeem their cap voucher score a one-of-a-kind U of H Astros cap. U of H head football coach Tony Levine will also toss the ceremony of first pitch. Buy tickets at astros.com/Cougs. Guys?
Nice looking cap, Patty. Thank you. We look forward to that one. It's 4-1, and the Brewers lead it. They've hit 3 long balls tonight for their 4 runs. Scott Moore accounted for the Astros run with his 2-out first inning homer, taking strike 1 there from Gallardo. Both these starting pitchers shooting for their 7th win of the year tonight. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Astros had been shut out 5 times in their last 22 games when this one got underway, and Moore ended that very quickly in the first inning. Now they're trying to build on what they did then, and they had a couple of hits in the second inning, but Gallardo's kept them pretty quiet.
Yeah. It's the tough part of coming off that road trip, and the Astros have played pretty solid baseball here at home, but good pitching could neutralize a lot of things, and they're up against Gallardo and then Greinke in the first 2 games of this pre-All-Star break homestand. You're looking to shake out of it, and you're up against some tough pitchers, and the thing you really have to fight is just that sense of doom or dread, or too strong of words, but we come into the ballpark with just kind of a, here we go again, got nothing going offensively. You have to find a way to eliminate the past and just focus on today.
Strikeout looking. Moore is victim number 5 of the night for Gallardo.
Bob Drake bringing Moore up there on a pitch that was clearly down.
He took it quietly. Now J.D. Martinez is 0 for 2. Ransom made a very good play to throw him out in the 3rd inning on a sharply hit ball. Ball 1 to J.D. Interesting game tonight in Pittsburgh. San Francisco 6, Pittsburgh 4 after 7. The Giants a game and a half behind the Dodgers in the NL West. The Pirates 2 ahead of Cincinnati in the NL Central.
Zito and Bedard, the starting pitchers in that ball game. A couple of lefties.
Well, neither was treated that well. Zito in 5 innings allowed 4 earned runs. Bedard went 3 2/3. He gave up 4 earned runs.
Cabrera has gone deep for San Francisco. He's an all-star. That's his 8th. And Casey McGee hit number 6. Boy, he was swinging it well against the Astros.
He was. Ground ball to first. Hart takes care of out number 2, and Drew McCutchen is 3 for 4 tonight. Time for a look at our Brown hand center grade hands of the game. And here's a play up the middle off the bat of Ramirez. Jed Lowry with a spin move. Got it.
It's as smooth as can be. Talked a lot about his offense this year, but he's played a very solid shortstop as well. Craig Reynolds out there.
Yeah.
Roaming around in his rainbow sleeves.
He did. Lowry struck out looking, fly to left. Ball 1 to Jed. It'll be interesting to see what the Dodgers do with so many players injured now. Of course, they could be getting Matt Kemp back after the All-Star break, but considering they're a game and a half in the lead in the NL West. 1 ball, 1 strike. They attempted to deal for Carlos Lee. That deal did not go through. So that would indicate their willingness to try to pick up a bat from somebody. And we'll have to see if they try to do that kind of a deal again with somebody else.
And just put D. Gordon on the DL.
True. There's another one. It's 2 balls and a strike.
So those injuries to the contending clubs, this makes the GMs of the teams that are looking to unload players salivate. Ooh, they're going to need a shortstop. They're going to need some pitching help.
Yep.
Scouring that prospect list. Make sure your scouts are doing their due diligence on their farm system. Of course, they got so many reports on these guys already. They've already identified who the top prospects are in all the organizations. He's going to keep a fresh set of eyes on them.
Chicago Cubs pounced on the New York Mets and Johan Santana tonight. They lead at 8-3, bottom of the 8th inning in New York. Santana giving up 7 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings.
This Rizzo kid went deep again for the Cubs.
It's number 4 for him.
Apparently he's for real.
Lowry takes a walk. Number 2. He's aboard for Chris Johnson, who singled to right in the 2nd, fly to right in the 4th.
Well, it happened with 2 outs and nobody out for the Brewers in the top half of the inning when they went double home run. A 2-out walk by Lowry. Astros have not been drawing a lot of walks lately. CJ can make Gallardo pay here. Baker and Johnson also went deep for Chicago, and Duda hit number 12 for the Mets.
Here's strike 1 to CJ.
If the Cubs win and the Astros lose, the Cubs will move ahead of the Astros, placing our fellows in last place in the Central.
Now, the Cubs are a half game behind the Astros right now, and Colorado has the same record as the Cubs. Rockies also winning tonight. Big cut there by CJ. It's no balls, 2 strikes to Chris Johnson.
Steady diet of breaking balls from Gallardo tonight for CJ. Now he's got the jump on him. I suspect he'll go breaking ball way down there where number 2 is, or maybe take a shot hard in first. Give him a hanger.
Yeah, he made a mistake. Foul back for an 0-2 count still. Now Maldonado sits up with that very wide stance.
But it does not limit his mobility. He bounces around back there nicely.
Blocks this one, but it kicks off to the left, and that gives Lowry the opportunity to take second on a wild pitch. Ball, 2 strikes.
Maldonado positioned well, but just couldn't soften that one.
Sure is nice to have an air-conditioned stadium, JD, after that road trip in the mid-90s.
Goodness. That was rugged.
Quite an experience in a sauna bath in Chicago and Pittsburgh. All these players. Jason Castro's on deck. Now it's 2-2. 99 pitches so far for Gallardo. Gallardo has a 2.68 career ERA at Minute Maid Park. In the dirt again.
Boy, he's not come off that breaking ball at all.
Full count now. Make the throw it again.
Well, can't rule it out.
Nope.
I think they're committed to it. I think they feel like sooner or later he's going to hack at one of these.
He took it for ball 4. Good work by Chris Johnson for his 16th walk. Now 2 men aboard, and it's Jason Castro. He's 2 for 2. That's 3 walks for Gallardo.
How do you get a guy to chase when he's thrown that many pitches of the same kind in the same spot?
Right.
And if he'd come off with a fastball in, he might have gotten to swing at that very well. He threw more of a slider there on that last one, didn't make it quite as big.
Right.
Tried to get him to chase, but CJ showing a little discipline, working the walk.
That sets it up for Castro. He hit a laser shot to center for a single in the second, and got a fly ball to drop in left center in the 4th. Rolls over on that one for strike 1. They're playing him to pull on the infield. Lots of room between second and third for a Castro hit. Minnesota's getting a very well pitched game from lefty Francisco Liriano. Francisco Liriano, 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs at Texas, with a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning now.
Might be the most schizophrenic pitcher in baseball, Liriano. You know, he goes from just dominating, then he'll get his lunch 3 or 4 starts in a row, or he just get hammered, and they're talking about taking him out of the rotation, and then he'll come back and pitch a shutdown game.
Remember that game he pitched here?
Oh, yeah, before he got hurt.
I think it was
Just
against
a kid.
It was against Clemens, wasn't it?
Yeah. One of the best sliders we'd ever seen.
Ooh. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball at 92 that time from Gallardo.
Rangers in jeopardy of dropping their 5th consecutive game. It's like every time they take command of that division, they start to slip back, and the Angels get hot. It's a 4-game spread now between Texas and the Angels.
Oakland's only a game under 500 now. Breaking ball got him a strikeout, and that is number 6. That ends the 6th inning with the score of 4-1 Brewers.
Houston is brought to you by the Hyundai Fuel Efficiency Drive Sales Event, by AT&T Rethink Possible, and by the Coachella Casino Resort, the largest, most exciting casino resort in Louisiana. Coachella. Skyline of downtown Houston here at night inside Minute Maid Park. The Astros need some runs, down by 3. All 5 runs produced by the long ball. Top of the 7th, here's Brownie and J.D.
Thank you, Greg. 7 hits for the Brewers, 4 for the Astros. This game moves to the 7th inning with Maldonado leading it off. He's 1 for 2. Looking at strike 1. He singled in the 2nd inning and hit a fly ball in the 4th.
He's the designated barber. Brewers.
Is he?
Yeah, it seems like every team has somebody who cuts hair. Wherever he goes, he's the haircut guy.
Wandy's the Astros guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No balls, 2 strikes. You think that Wandy does a reliable job, or have you talked with anyone? Wandy haircut.
I think he does. I think he's a craftsman. I think he cares about everything he does.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to volunteer some member of our crew to ask Wandy if he would?
That could be a feature in the pregame show someday.
It really could.
Couldn't be me. Couldn't be Artie.
How about Dave Raymond?
Could be you or Kevin or Bart.
I think Bart would be good for that.
Patty, take a couple inches off.
Don't know if he styles women's hair or not.
That's what we'll find out.
Okay. Well, we'll volunteer Patty for that. Patty's going to be going away to an undisclosed location, so maybe we could have him cut her hair before she leaves, so just in case it could grow out a little bit by the time she got back.
Why am I always the guinea pig for your little ventures?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I'm a gamer. I'm such a gamer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the person with the most hair.
There you go. Well, in this crew we've got here, I don't. That was kind of an easy win. I'm not even going to take much pride in that.
Well, would you really take that risk?
No.
Okay.
I'm a little gamer, not a big gamer. You don't mess with Patty's hair.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, she's going Ricky Henderson on us.
Yeah.
I'm in the third person.
Yeah, she's third person.
Patty don't go for that.
No.
Art said he would, though.
Oh, that's nice of him. 94 pitches for Jay Happ. And a 3-2 count on Maldonado with Gallardo on deck. That's pretty risky. Not that we don't trust Wandy, but you'd like to see his work a little bit. Foul back into the upper deck. Maybe he could put together a resume for us.
Some photos of guys that he's clipped.
Yeah. So, perhaps we'll look at his portfolio before we make a decision on that and check his prices. And Ariel Del Rosario is warming up. Well, there was Sal the Barber Magley, but he didn't get that nickname because he actually cut hair, did he?
He gave you close shaves with up and in fastballs.
That's the first walk for Jay Happ. So a leadoff walk to the number 8 hitter, and now Gallardo comes up in a bunting situation, perhaps, but Ron Renicky could roll the dice with a 3-run lead, have him swing away. He can swing the bat.
Yeah, it's a situation where sometimes the guy can handle the bat a little bit. They'll give him one swing, figuring he's going to get a fastball over the plate to swing at, turn him loose with one big swing, and then put the bunt back on. But right now, it looks like they're going straight sacrifice.
He gets this one foul.
It's a little surprising given Gallardo's previous attempt at getting a sack down. Again, it looks to me like he's just trying to be too fine with it, trying to steer it out towards first base as opposed to just dropping it out in front of home plate, out on the grass there in front of Castro. Somewhere in betwixt Castro and Happ.
Okay.
Would get the job done.
Well, he has 3 sacrifice bunts this year. Pulls the bat back on that one for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Maldonado running. The Astros have a shot at a force out here at second.
Guys, I've decided Wandy should do Gallardo's hair.
Yeah, he's carrying a little extra lettuce this year, isn't he?
Yeah. Keep it in the family.
Well, it's always, it's safer to risk it on somebody with long hair.
Pitcher to pitcher.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'm guessing that sometime between now and Gallardo's next start, he's going to be in the cage doing some bunting. I don't think he's going to need Ron Renicky or anybody to ask him. He's clearly frustrated with his efforts here tonight.
Yeah, if he's not a very good professional. He puts this one down.
Ultimately got it done.
It's over to CJ. That's all that counts. He executed the bunt. It is 4-1, Milwaukee leading Houston. Glad to have you with us tonight. There's one out in the top of the 7th inning with Maldonado at second and Gomez coming up. Brewers got back-to-back homers from Aoki and Braun in the first inning, and then a 2-run shot from Weeks in the 6th. The Astros run came on a Scott Moore 2-out first inning homer. Gomez is 0 for 3.
Yeah, you got to be careful here too. This guy loves to bunt for a hit.
He hits one a long way instead to center field, way over the head of Schaefer and bouncing off the warning track. And he is hustling toward third base. The run scores as the throw goes into third, and he is safe with a triple and an RBI, scoring Maldonado to make it 5-1. Schaefer didn't seem to really run hard to that spot. It looked like he had a moment when he was not running as hard as he had been, and then he put on a burst at the end. So Gomez, with his 4th triple, gets his 18th run batted in.
And this guy's just so gifted. He crushes this ball.
Okay, well, that looked better on the replay.
Just a long way to go, and I don't know how to say this without sounding unfair to Gomez, but he might be the best mediocre player in the league. I mean, if he could just fine-tune his game, the skill set is off the charts.
Infield in. Aoki on a squeeze, but not a suicide squeeze. Takes ball 1. He homered in the first. He's 1 for 3.
The difference in this game, as it has been in so many of the Astros games this year, the other club piling up extra base hits. The Astros so many times this year, just when they get a lot of hits, mostly singles.
1-1. 23,403 the attendance tonight. On a flashback Friday night at Minute Maid Park. Tomorrow there's a 3:05 start. Astros live at 2:30. 1-2.
A wild swing there from Aoki. Infield pulled in, a little contact. Could be his goal, especially now with 2 strikes.
Aoki won the batting title in Japan in 2010, hitting .358 for Tokyo. Bouncer up the middle and on through for an RBI single to make it 6-1 Milwaukee. 2 runs batted in tonight for Aoki, giving him 20. And the Brewers are up by 5.
He got the contact, just chopped a little base hit up the middle with the infield drawn in. Astros obviously had to pull the infield in this stage of the game, already down 4. It was kind of a crazy night for J. Happ. That slow start, and then he settled in and was really, really good. And then just kind of coming undone here the last couple of innings.
Milwaukee 6, Houston 1. Back in a moment. We take a look back at the long balls here in the first inning. Aoki goes deep to right field, 1 out into the game, his 5th of the year. Then Ryan Braun belts number 24 to make it 2-0 Milwaukee. The Astros get a Scott Moore solo shot in the first inning themselves. That's number 2 for him into that second deck. And then a 2-run blast by Ricky Weeks into the Astro bullpen. So the Brewers play long ball 3 times to give them 100 for the season. And Ariel Del Rosario in 4 games has no wins or losses. His ERA is 9.
28 times he had pitched down at AAA this year with a 4.45 ERA. This is his 3rd stint with the Astros this year, but obviously hasn't worked a whole lot.
Runner first, 1 out. Braun with that homer in the first is 1 for 3. The Astros would love a double play ball here from Del Rosario. That's one of his specialties. And there's strike 1. Dallas Keuchel was optioned to AAA Oklahoma City. The Astros were using a 6-man rotation, and he was number 6, so he gets sent back, and they added a man to the bullpen, and Del Rosario for this stretch of games right up to the All-Star break, and then afterwards as well, because the 6-man rotation was just a short-term thing. Keuchel had come up and he had impressed. And then Bud Norris was able to rejoin the rotation, so Brad Mills decided to go with the 6-man rotation because he wanted to give those starting pitchers an extra day of rest. That's something they had not had this year. In the dirt, good pickup by Castro. Now after the break, the Astros Friday night in San Francisco start a stretch of 20 straight games without a day off. They have a 10-game road trip, their longest of the season, going to San Francisco, San Diego for 4, and then Arizona. On fouls it back. It's 1-2. Atlanta shut out the Phillies in Philadelphia 5-0 with all 5 scoring in the 8th inning off Antonio Bastardo, the loser, who's 2-3. Tim Hudson, the winner, is 7-4. Brian McCann hit his 11th home run. Hudson went 7 innings. And the Phillies sink even further back. They fall to 11 games under 500. Popped up. Lowry near second base. Handling that one for the second out. And Aramis Ramirez follows. He's 1 for 3, a double in the first inning. Well, the Braves continue to hang in there. They're 6 behind Washington coming into play tonight. And that's going to be a very interesting picture going forward in the NL East with Washington, New York, and Atlanta within 6 of each other.
Oh, and these wild card races are going to be crazy.
Yeah, they are.
So many teams in the mix.
Aoki gets back at first.
Mets really, for me, have been the surprise team, even probably more so than the Pirates.
I have to agree with you. Runner going. Here's a throw from Castro to Altuve. Beautiful throw, but he's safe. That was a gorgeous throw by Castro. And his throwing has improved so much. But Aoki gets his 11th steal.
And not a real big lead, but he gets a pretty good jump. Good, strong, accurate throw by Castro. Very close there at second base.
Pitch was ball 1. And it's 2-0 to Ramirez. Brewers are 5th in base stealing in the league. That's their 60th of the year. Detroit knocked off Kansas City at Comerica Park 4-2. Drew Smiley won that one, beating Jonathan Sanchez. Strike makes it 2-1. Cameron Lowe's warming up in the bullpen for the Brewers. That's been a real Achilles heel for that club. Jose Valverde got his 16th save for the Tigers tonight. Delman Young hit his 8th home run for winning Detroit. That one up there where Ramirez really liked it, but he fouled it back. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Tigers are another team. They just have not been able to light it up this year, but this win gets them back to 500. And they began the night 4.5 behind front-running Chicago in the AL Central. That division could be worth watching here in the second half. Cincinnati just got a run in the top of the first, still batting at San Diego against Kip Wells. And Zach Cozart hit his 9th home run for that run. Broken bat. That is a serious job of breaking the bat.
Should do be.
That's a great pitch.
Well, that's a little drop down sidearm action. He gets a lot of run in on right-handed hitters with his fastball. That one really gets in the kitchen of Ramirez. We'll see it here in slow motion. Half swing, half defending his body from that pitch.
Yes. Two to Ramirez. Dodgers nothing, Diamondbacks nothing after 1 in the desert. Clayton Kershaw against Josh Colmenter.
Well, back in there.
Fly ball to right. Scott Moore has a long way to come, and that ball is going to drop in for a hit. Gets by him. Ramirez into second as the run scored, and he is safe with a double.
Second pop fly of the double. Second pop fly double of the night for Aramis Ramirez. And I understand playing deep, but Scott Moore was really deep there. I mean, he was pretty much in Conroe.
Three runs home in the inning to make it 7-1 Milwaukee. Aoki stole the base, then he scored, and then Moore laid out for it. Now Corey Hart is the batter. The infield shift is on. Altuve moving over to the third base side of second. Hart has a pair of doubles tonight. That's 10 hits for Milwaukee, 4 for Houston, and it's ball 1.
And they're piling up the total bases, aren't they? Boy. 3 home runs, 4 or 5 doubles, a triple.
Yeah. That blows up Jay Happ's ERA with 6 1/3 innings of work, allowing 9 hits, 7 runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, it was a bizarre night for him. He didn't pitch like a guy who gave up 7 runs.
Well, it's a rough stretch. The shot, and Matt Dominguez comes up with it on the short hop and throws out Hart, who hit a low flying bullet. Milwaukee adds to the lead with 3 runs on 3 hits, leaving a man, and it is 7-1 Brewers. For tomorrow's game presented by Chevron. 2:30 for Astros Live tomorrow. 3:05 start time for game 2 of this 3-game weekend series. Zach Greinke 9-2, a 3.08 ERA. Wandy Rodriguez 6-6, a 3.54. That's the matchup tomorrow. If you'll join us at 2:30 for Astros Live with Bart Ennis.
Looks like the Astros are going to need Wandy to step up in a big way. They need a stopper. Somebody go out there and shut the other club down. And Wandy may just be the guy, but it's going to be tough to score again tomorrow with Greinke going for the Brewers. The Astros in jeopardy of losing their 9th consecutive ball game here tonight. There have been 2 12-game losing streaks in baseball this year. The Royals had one in April, and the Cubs lost 12 in a row from the middle of May till May 27th.
Big Cameron Lowe, 6'8", 30 years old, comes out of the bullpen with a 4-2 record of 4.17 ERA. And he faces Matt Dominguez with Brian Bixler on deck. The pitcher spot due up next. A strike one for Cameron Lowe, the former Texas Ranger.
Sinker baller, gets a lot of ground balls when he's on his game. I think Ron Renicky would have asked one more inning out of Gallardo had the Brewers not played add-on there in the top half of the inning. His bullpen has been so shaky. I think he would have wanted Gallardo out there one more time. Comfortable lead now.
Cody Ransom throws out Dominguez. 1 out. He's 0 for 3, and here comes Bixler as the pinch hitter for Del Rosario. Happ in 6 1/3 innings, allowing 9 hits, 7 runs, walking 1, fanning 4. Del Rosario 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. And Bixler with a .254 average has 16 hits and 63 at bats. Bryant has 2 homers. He's driven in 6 as a pinch hitter. He's 0 for 5. Rainer Cruz is warming up for Houston. Bixler takes ball 1. Astros pinch hitters have delivered very well this season. 29 hits and 108 at bats. There's Cruz warming up, including 4 long balls, 3 by Justin Maxwell. Bouncer goes foul. Giovanni Gallardo in 6 innings allowed 4 hits, 1 run, walking 3, fanning 6. 108 pitches. .62 strikes of the 108 for Gallardo. Bixler went for it. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bryan. Giants knocked off Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh 6-5. Barry Zito goes to 7-6, beating Eric Bedard, who's 4-10. He seems to be the weak link in that rotation right now. His ERA 4.80. He had been much better at home. That's a strikeout looking for Bixler. 2 outs.
Giants needed that win. They're coming off a sweep in Washington. The Nationals battered that Giant pitching staff. They got Lincecum, they got Kane, and they got Bumgarner, and they hit them all well. Low, big guy, but not a real hard thrower. Fastball 88 to 90 miles an hour. Good sinker, though. Curveball and a changeup.
Jordan Schaefer is 0 for 3. There's strike 1.
Been a tough night at the plate for Schaefer. 2 punch outs and a ground ball back to the mound.
Colorado beat Washington in Washington 5-1. Drew Pomeranz going to 1-3, beating Steven Strasburg. He's 9-4. Rafael Betancourt got his 14th save. 2 homers from Tyler Colvin to give him 13. 1 from Dexter Fowler, his 11th, and Ryan Zimmerman hit number 8 for the losing Nationals, who are still in first place, though.
How'd Strasburg do?
He did okay. I think it was 6 innings, 3 earned runs. Nothing wrong with that. And tonight there was. And it's out number 3.
About timing, isn't it?
Yeah. 7-1 Brewers after 7.
Greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Central on Foxville.
Look forward to that one, Patty. And especially that man, Jose Altuve, looks forward to it, as he will be leaving Sunday. And, of course, the bench coach for the Astros will be going as well, Joe Patini, and the strength and conditioning coach, Gene Coleman. Part of the Astros all-star contingent. Now it's Rainer Cruz getting ready. He'll pitch the 8th inning after Del Rosario got 2 outs in the 7th. He has a 1-0 record, a 6.84 ERA.
Got off to a pretty good start this year, but lately it's been a struggle for him. He's only pitched 3 times in the Astros' last 18 games. The ERA has continued to climb. Now it's 6.84. Worked an inning on Monday in Pittsburgh, allowed a run in 1 inning. So you think Gene Coleman is going to whip those guys into shape over there, the All-Star game?
He joked on the interview with Greg Lucas that they're probably not going to be working out a whole lot.
Let's go, you guys.
Ricky Weeks is the leadoff man here in the 8th inning.
It's really a fitting way to honor that profession, you know. And Gene's he's the senior guy.
Yeah, and it's the first time they've ever had a strength and conditioning coach at the All-Star game. So he's going to work with both teams.
He's like the Arnold Palmer of strength and conditioning coaches.
That's true. Maybe they should name an award for him.
Yeah.
Or a workout regimen for him or something. Appeal to Joe West. 2 balls, no strikes. And he checked that swing. Ricky Weeks has had a tough time doing that this year with his 100 strikeouts. He's had rough numbers offensively, and he's had his struggles in the field as well. Fastball foul back. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, you know, if you're a believer in the numbers, then you suspect that Ricky Weeks is going to have a big second half.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it doesn't pan out. You know, we said that about Adam Dunn last year. He's got to turn it around. The body of work he has, he never got it going last year.
Hit 159. People said he was done. That's true. Fly ball to Altuve. 1 out, but he wasn't finished, and he's had a good year this year. Although the last time I saw, he was projected to hit more than 50 homers and strike out 200 times. That's weird.
But you know, that's kind of his game. Punch out a bunch, walk a lot, hit a ton of home runs.
1 out, and it's Cody Ransom. Ransom 0 for 3. Oh, he has really stayed the course, hasn't he? 36 years old. Spent a lot of time in the minor leagues, but he just keeps getting shots. He got a chance to play with Arizona, just 33 at bats last year, but nonetheless, here he is getting a fair amount of work with Milwaukee because of the injury to Alex Gonzalez.
Initially called up Edwin Masonette. Spent a little time with the Astros a few years back.
Cody hit 27 homers for Reno last year. And, you know, a guy with his pedigree, and he's been known as a very good shortstop. He was drafted in '98 by the Giants and has bounced around with the Yankees a little bit, the Phillies. If he can go to AAA and put up good numbers, there's a pretty good shot he's going to get another opportunity with a big league club. There are just enough injuries that come along that it pays a player to do that if he's interested in continuing the course.
Yeah, you know, you can carve out a nice little life for yourself as a AAA player who gets some big league time every year, or just on the cusp, just the next man down in the depth chart. Good insurance policy.
He was with the Astros in '07. He hit 28 homers at Round Rock that year, 1 for Houston. Slider, and Rainer Cruz buried that one. That's a really good release point on that slider. Or a strikeout for out number 2.
It was interesting. Well, this time home plate umpire didn't ask for help. My first look at that one, I didn't think that was much of a swing. The second time, looked like he did offer.
Mm-hmm. Good thing we have replays tonight, because on that triple, I didn't think Jordan Schaefer was running as hard as he could, but on replay, it looked like he was. 2 outs, and now Maldonado. He is 1 for 2 with a walk.
So maybe people are asking, well, if these guys are such good AAA players, put up these huge numbers, how come they don't establish themselves in the big leagues? And it's, well, because big league pitchers are better. Generally throw harder, make fewer mistakes. There's a lot of guys down in AAA who can dominate or beat up the pitching down there. Maybe the swing's a little long or some holes in their swing, and they just aren't as consistent at the big league level.
Mm-hmm. Another good pitch for Reiner Cruz here, JD.
Yeah, there have been flashes from Reiner this year.
And he starts that slider there. Oh, it's effective. One and two. You like the old cap that they're wearing tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a clean look, isn't it?
Might have to get one of those. My dad's got a birthday coming up. I think that'd be a wonderful birthday present right there.
How about that one?
Yeah, put an Astro logo on it. We're good to go.
A mixed metaphor there. Fastball. Ooh, yeah. He really pitched that inning. 1, 2, 3, 8. 7-1, Milwaukee.
Hitting the road? Well, take the Astros with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Astros out-of-market game live online on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. We have changes for Ron Renicke's Milwaukee Brewers. Cesar Izturis is the new shortstop, taking over there for Cody Ransom. Very good defensive player down through the years. And here's Livan Hernandez. He was in spring training with the Astros. He's 2-1 with the Brewers with a 5.24 ERA.
And didn't make the Astros club, signed with Atlanta, spent a little time with them, and then was designated for assignment, released, picked up by the Brewers June 22nd. He's a crafty right-hander. He's been around forever.
He throws strike one to Jose Altuve.
An 82-mile-an-hour heater.
That slow curveball, agonizingly slow.
Curveball average is 67 miles an hour. We've seen him go slower, though.
He can go slow. No balls, 2 strikes. Altuve 0 for 3 tonight as that ball is juggled by the fans. Levon, the relatively ageless one, now 37 from Cuba. Gets a ground ball from Altuve, hustled out of the box, but his Torres takes care of out number 1. And it'll be Scott Moore coming up next. He has homered in 3 trips. Levon was signed by the Marlins as a free agent way back in '96. In that '97 season, he was the World Series most valuable player, winning 2 games. He also won 2 games in the League Championship Series. He was 9-3 during the regular season in 17 starts. Many people thought Moises Alou should have been the MVP in that series.
He has been a workhorse over the years.
Oh, he has.
3,100 major league innings pitched. He's 176 and 177 for his major league career.
He got his first win as a Brewer on Tuesday, despite allowing a go-ahead solo homer to Jose Reyes. Ground ball to first. Hard with the toss to Hernandez. 2 outs. The Astros, of course, could have had Levon Hernandez in their rotation this season, but based on what they saw this spring, they decided to go younger, and that seems to have been a very good decision on their part to put a Lucas Harrell and a Jordan Lyles in the rotation.
And it makes perfect sense to bring a guy like Levon into camp, so you have that plan B there. If you don't feel like those young guys are ready to go at this level, you could give the ball to Levon every 5th day, and there are going to be some nights where he's not competitive and gets knocked out early, but for the most part, he's a guy who's always been able to hang in there even when he gets hit around. He's a good athlete, swing the bat. He's a heck of a golfer.
Didn't know that. JD Martinez looks at ball 1.
I don't know if that would be a determining factor when picking your ball club or not, but
well, it might. You know, Hawk Harrelson took Jim Rice under his wing when they were with the Red Sox, and Rice was a young player, and he said, if you will come play golf with me in the morning, we can talk some baseball and we'll work on your game. And it really worked for some reason. Jim Rice just needed a mentor type figure. It really helped his baseball to be hanging around Hawk Harrelson on the golf course.
Played golf with Jim Rice once. Man takes a pretty ferocious swing.
That's what I heard. Hit the ball about 350 maybe.
Oh, crushes it.
2 balls and a strike.
Reggie Jackson popping off in Sports Illustrated. Did you read about that?
No.
Questioning the Hall of Fame credentials of a number of his contemporaries.
All right, such as
Phil Necro, Gary Carter, Bert Blyleven.
Come on.
Yeah.
Based on,
I don't know, just his opinion.
Okay, well, he's entitled to that. He's always had his opinions, hasn't he?
Yeah. Apparently fired on A-Rod and Andy Pettit a little bit over PEDs.
Okay. So he's still the straw that stirs the drink, it sounds like. Struck him out looking. That's the 8th inning, and it's 7-1 Brewers.
Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. Call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by the new summer barbecue menu at Burger King. Let's have a barbecue today.
All right, let's do that, Greg. It's 7-1. The Brewers lead it. The Astros would love to barbecue the Brewers bullpen in the bottom of the ninth. But first of all, the Brewers bat in the top half, leading and out hitting the Astros 10-4 with no errors in this game. 23,403 on a Friday night. Fireworks coming up afterwards. And it'll be Cesar Torres leading it off in the ninth inning for the Brew Crew.
It's a good night to have fireworks. Fans really haven't had a whole lot to get excited about tonight. At least they'll have that.
They will have that, as promised. Is Torres, the switch hitting shortstop, checks in at 209 with 1 homer, 8 runs batted in. He's had 110 at bats this year. That's ball 1. He has some of the best hands in the game. Has not hit for much in his career, but a lot of teams will carry a strong fielding shortstop who does not provide much punch. Altuve over to Johnson, 1 out. Now Carlos Gomez. Gomez with the RBI triple in the 7th inning is 1 for 4. Yankees lead at Boston 10-8, bottom of the 8th inning. Boston has 2 long balls. Jared Saltalamacchia, number 17. Cody Ross, number 13. And that's their usual Donnybrook with a total of 27 hits.
Josh Beckett started for Boston tonight. Kuroda, I believe, for the Yankees.
You are correct, sir. Neither will look upon this as one of his outstanding efforts of the year.
Interesting story on Kuroda in the New York Times the other day about the rigors of playing in Japan or growing up in Japan playing.
What did he say?
Well, and I know we talked about this before. One of the other Japanese players that was a manager used to slap guys in the face.
Yeah.
And Kuroda, his manager used to make him. He would have to run from like 7 in the morning till 9 at night, just run nonstop. Yeah, he would. You know, he would. I mean, it was crazy the stuff this guy made him do. His teammates would like leave water in strategic places in the woods and rice balls for him so he could have something to eat or drink.
He's alive today.
They would spank him with bats, hit him with bats to the point where he couldn't sit down the next day.
The number 1 Carlos Lee supporter right there. The head of Los Caballitos. What's going to happen with that group now? They disbanding? Will they change
They kind of disbanded anyway, hadn't they? It seemed like that group had gotten a lot smaller.
Yes. Strikeout for out number 2.
Yeah, Carlos didn't hit that many home runs, so we didn't get to show him that much.
No. Gomez came up empty. Reiner Cruz has retired 5 in a row.
Cruz looking like the star of the game right now for the Astros.
He is.
Back spasms for Josh Hamilton. He's been removed from the game tonight.
Aoki has 2 hits, 2 runs batted in. One of those hits a homer. Boy, that's, you know, there are all kinds of implications for Hamilton this year. It's his free agent year. And he has been hurt an awful lot. He does play hard and he puts up big numbers. It'll be very interesting to see where he's playing next year and what kind of a deal he gets. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's going to get a monster deal.
He should. Miami 2, St. Louis 1, bottom of the 7th in St. Louis. It's 2-1. Did you see the exchange between Mark Burley and Carlos Lee when Carlos arrived in that clubhouse in Milwaukee for Miami?
I did not.
Well, they were teammates very briefly, I think 1 year with the White Sox, so they could kid. And Burley said, boy, I'm sure glad we got a guy with a big bat who's driven in 29 runs this year. 3 balls and strike.
What was Carlos's response?
I said there was nobody on base.
Not true.
I wanted to hear your response to that. Ricky Nolasco's pitching for Miami. Jack Westbrook went 6 2/3 for Cardinals. Aoki takes a 2-out stroll. You know, let's see. We still have Carlos's numbers on the stat sheet. No, he's gone. He's been expunged from the stat sheet.
Erased. He ceases to exist.
Wow. Just like that, erased. Okay, Carlos hit 287, 5 homers, 29 RBIs, 336 on base average, 411 slugging percentage. That 411 slugging, I think, really was at the heart of the issue, and I'm sure the Marlins are hoping they get a whole lot higher. You know, maybe 480 or higher than that slugging percentage from Carlos. Not that that's a magical number, but he just did not seem to be driving the ball. Braun hit by the pitch from Rainer Cruz.
Well, we've seen this happen from time to time with Reiner. He'll be going along nicely, and then he just kind of loses his way out there. He gets a little sloppy with his delivery, and that two-seam fastball really takes off. Just right in the small of the back for Braun. Pitch that's virtually impossible to get out of the way of.
It's the 8th time Braun has been drilled this year. For Rainer Cruz, that is his 2nd hit batsman, but he's flipped a bunch of guys too on up and in pitches when he drops down in that delivery, and we've seen that. He may be getting a little tired, although he's only thrown 24 pitches. Probably just a mechanical issue more than anything. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yep.
Ramos. Like,
can't blame him. First step back.
7-1 game. He's like, we got this under control. I'm not getting drilled in the ribs here.
He's catching it from his dugout too. He had a little smile over in that direction. Yep.
So let's just check and see if Cruz has got things sighted in a little better here before we proceed with his at bat.
David Carpenter's warming up. It's not that he's thrown that many pitches, but usually Rainer Cruz is about a 1-inning guy, an inning and a third. He's gone a couple before, a few times this year. It's been a while. 1 ball, 1 strike, but Brad Mills does not want to use another pitcher in this 7-1 game right now.
Yeah, I have a hard time grasping the concept that a pitcher might get tired with 2 innings of work.
Right. That's a strike, and it's 1-2.
Imagine that's the way that a lot of the at-bats were against the great Steve Dalkowski, the famous fireballer in the minor leagues.
He was a wild man.
Threw it all over the place.
Yeah. Ryan Duran. Ryan Duran pitched for the Yankees, among other clubs. He'd come in, and it was common for his first warm-up pitch to be thrown off the screen. And he wore those big, thick Coke bottle glasses, so the hitter's thinking, I'm not sure this guy can really see. That's a scary thought.
This is just a very skittish at-bat for Ramirez.
Well, let's face it. Been around a long time. Signed a multi-year deal with this club. He's very important to the team. He's making a lot of money. It's a 7-1 ball game. All those factors are in his head, and a reason to think, I really don't want to stand in here and get drilled by this guy. Not that anything would be different for anybody else.
But it just makes the point that if a pitcher just shows enough inside that you could take a hitter out of his game a little bit. this is an instance where Cruz isn't trying to intimidate anybody. He just doesn't have command of that fastball.
That's right.
But if you do have command of the fastball and you can come hard in early in the game and show that you're willing to do it throughout the game and just keep those hitters from diving over and diving out to cover the outside corner.
Runners go, and it's fouled back again. Cubs beat the Mets 8-7 in New York. Travis Wood got his 4th win, hitting Johan Santana. Reed Johnson hit his 3rd. Anthony Rizzo number 4. Jeff Baker number 3 for the Cubs. Duda and Valdespin went deep for the Mets. Jake Peavy and the White Sox down Toronto 4-2. Brzezinski hit his 16th. Brzezinski pretty put off by Ron Washington not naming him to the All-Star team. Brzezinski probably is not going to win any popularity contests, votes by players or managers.
Well, Wash responded. He said, hey, I really feel bad that I couldn't take him. He's certainly deserving.
Brzezinski said, well, he doesn't feel that bad, or he would have put me on the team. 3-2 with the runners going, and it's fouled back. Brzezinski blasted somebody at home plate the other day. This will be the 10th pitch to Aramis Ramirez. Alex Cobb at Tampa Bay clocked Cleveland 10-3 in Cleveland, beating Justin Masterson. Luke Scott hit his 10th. Benjamin Zobrist number 11. Runners going, and that's hit out to left center field. Schaefer backing on it, and there. No runs, no hits, 2 men stranded. Bottom of the 9th coming, 7-1 Milwaukee. Those are coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning. And we've had some fans dancing. We've got a little dance contest going up on the big screen. Okay.
Ironically, there was no music playing at the time.
No. Niger Morgan is in left field, but she doesn't care about that. We're going to the bottom of the 9th inning, and it's Jed Lowry. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. There's Niger. Or is it T. Plush?
I'm not sure what he's going by these days.
Okay. There's strike one. Chris Johnson on deck as the Astros bat in the last of the 9th inning. Boy, their offensive woes continue. They scored 15 runs in 7 games on the road trip. Got a 2-out First inning homer from Scott Moore tonight. Just 3 singles since then.
And Brad Mills trying everything he can. Juggling the lineup. Moving guys up and down the batting order.
And it's fouled out of play. And Zach Greinke coming up tomorrow. Greinke certainly one of the best non-all-stars this year at 9-2 with a 3.08 ERA. He has struck out 106 in 108 innings. He is a difficult pitcher to beat right now. And that is a catch by Aoki.
The frustrations continue for Judd. Great swing of the bat, but nothing to show for it.
Done this a few times lately.
Aoki, good outfielder, well positioned, got a nice jump.
Chris Johnson has 2 singles and a strikeout. There's ball 1 to him. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Levon, we talked about his athleticism earlier, and he's the kind of guy that I wouldn't be surprised some offseason he learned how to throw knuckleball and he pitched for another 5 years.
That's true. He'd be one of those guys who could do that. He competes with what he has pretty well. Obviously loves the game. To be pitching this late in life. Strike makes it 2-2. Orlando was a member of the White Sox in 05, but faced the Astros in the World Series that year. El Duque. Fell back, still 2-2. There's been quite a Cuban contingent. Levon and Orlando. A real flood of Cubans who've come to this country to contribute to Major League Baseball and make big money while doing it. Jason Castro's on deck. Rolled out to shortstop is Torres. That's the second out.
Well, this is a matchup Ozzie Guillen would love.
Sure is.
Levon against Castro.
Jason Castro is 2 for 3.
Hit a home run, Jason.
Well, he scorched the line drive single in the second inning, hit a pop fly single in the fourth. Looking at ball 1. Wandy Rodriguez goes tomorrow for the Astros against Zach Greinke.
3:05, right? First pitch.
3:05. You like that start time?
I do.
We had a hit batsman. Braun got drilled. Now we're going to get warnings as Levon down to 1 out remaining to end the game drills Castro. Okay.
Drills. I'm not sure that's the right word.
No.
Levon. I don't think it hit him.
I don't think it did. Rob Drake thought it did.
Yeah.
Okay, now warnings have been issued, so it gets dicey if that happens again. Dominguez is 0 for 3.
Well, you know, Levon. Braun's one of those guys. I think anytime he gets hit, he thinks it's possibly intentional. He's been the type of guy who's ruffled some feathers over the years. That clearly wasn't intentional. I'm not sure if Braun said anything or Levon just kind of decided to throw one in there. But if you're going to hit a guy, that's kind of where you want to go with it. Not going to really hurt him in there. 82-mile-an-hour fastball towards his hip. Missed him anyway. No harm done. Might have been the whole Castro thing had him worked up a little bit.
That could have been it. 2 balls, 1 strike, but you know, if an umpire lets players police the game that way, that's what they like. They'll take care of it themselves. So the retaliation, if it was that, has taken place. Now the warning comes, not before.
Well, you don't need to issue a warning either to eject a pitcher. If you feel like a pitcher's throwing at somebody, if you want to, you can eject it.
True. Usually from this point on, it gets to be more and more interesting in that light. In pennant races, the teams don't like each other. When they've had a history of things like that, the dog days arrive late July, early August. You see more of that stuff.
You do, but it seems like in recent years there hasn't been a whole. I remember there was a period there where there's fights going on all the time.
Right. Runner going, and that's in the left center field. Let's see if Morgan can get there. He cannot. Castro goes first to third, and that's the first hit as an Astro by Matt Dominguez.
It's a ball worth keeping.
Yes, it is. And that ball is going to be thrown over toward the Astros dugout. Go in his trophy case.
A few years from now, that'll be a line drive.
You bet. Ryan Bogusevic is the pinch hitter now for Rainer Cruz. Ryan is 4 for 9 as a pinch hitter this season. .220 with 6 homers, 21 runs batted in overall. Runner going. Dominguez taking second without a play. And it's ball 1. Fielder's indifference. No stolen base. Bogusevic fouls it back. It's 1-1 to Bryant. Bryant started in center field last night. On the road trip, he had 3 hits and 22 at bats. He started 56 times in right field.
Stretch Suba has more intensity when he throws BP than Levon does on the mound. You just after having a game of catch.
2-1, yeah.
Sub ready for action.
Yes, he is. He's always ready. Bet he likes wearing that old cap. That classic look. Navy blue, the orange, and the white. Now Maldonado's going out. Carlos Stanton apparently is on track to hit in home run derby. Worked out his ailing knee today, and he's set for a return to the lineup tomorrow for the Marlins. And quickly hit the Weeks on over to Hart, and the Brewers win this one 7-1. The Astros' 9th consecutive loss. Milwaukee going to 39-44. Giovanni Gallardo moves to 7-6. And the Brewers unload 3 long balls to give them 100 for the season. Final score: Brewers 7, Astros 1.